I'm sure everybody's familiar with the John F. Kennedy inauguration speech on January 20th of 1961. Many people have credited Mr. Kennedy as one of the top greatest American speakers. His inauguration is ranked second under Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. After watching his inauguration speech on YouTube several times, John F. Kennedy used many tools in his speech. The three things that stuck out came from chapter 17 in the Speak Up public speaking book are the ethos, pathos, logos, along with many other literacy tools like repetition, comparison, and also metaphors. President Kennedy opens up with credibility, also known as ethos in our public speaking. Mr. John F. Kennedy quoted, "For I have sworn before you and Almighty God, the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago." With that, Kennedy is reassuring that he has followed the rules and has been responsible and has a responsibility to the Americans just like the past presidents did. After opening, Kennedy focused on the emotions of the people by using the word we. Now, a good reason for him to focus on the people is because there were over 20,000 people in the audience watching him for the inauguration. Kennedy states with a pathos, which is more towards the emotion of the audience, "The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, born in this century, tempered by war, proud of our ancient heritage and unwilling to witness and permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always committed to when we are committed today." So that's good that he actually wants to include everybody, and the inauguration is not just about him. That's where it's good for him to use one of his literacy tools. Another literacy tool that he was known for is his repetition. Kennedy began several of his speeches with the phrase, "Let both sides." Then he used strong verbs to call the public instead of Americans like explore, formulate, seek, and unite. So he used those strong verbs to show that we are not individual states. We are one country coming together to help each other. Another big thing that President Kennedy used was metaphors. One big metaphor that comes out to me is, "But we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedom. And remember that to the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside." This implies that Kennedy doesn't expect the states to accept him, but they want to adopt the intention, but rather support and fight together if any type of war was supposed to come around. Another metaphor that sticks out to me with Mr. Kennedy was the energy, the faith, the devotion, which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and who serve it. I feel that Kennedy implies that the confidence of this country has to fuel him to defend the country as the president. Kennedy adds, "The glow from that fire can truly light the world." I believe that the fire in that sentence is the fire that shows the devotion, the commitment, and just the togetherness of America together. Right after that metaphor, John F. Kennedy pops up with the most famous line from his speech with great enthusiasm and confidence. "And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." John F. Kennedy's famous speech has many, many literacy tools. I could go on forever with many of the literacy tools I was slowly picking out as I was listening to his 15-minute speech several times. It was full of ethos, pathos, logos, along with several metaphors, repetitions, enthusiasm to make his speech the second best speech ever written underneath Martin Luther King Jr.